It's Ron Reader digs the universe. I'm Ron Reader, and this is Ron Reader Digs the Universe. And tonight, Tyre, Nichols, and the Black Cops. 3 weeks ago, in Memphis, Tennessee, a young black man was pulled over by the police, ostensibly for a traffic violation, and then beaten to death. The murder of Tyre Nichols is huge news and yet another reminder that black lives matter. Pretty much every news source is talking about it right now, especially after the recent release of horrific video footage documenting the event in full, gory detail. I want to focus on the fact that Nichols' killers were black cops. A high school classmate of mine, a white woman, recently posted on Facebook a condemnation of the killing, but also observed that because the police officers are black men, it couldn't possibly be racist. Indeed, to call the murder racist seems counterintuitive to a lot of white people, especially conservatives, for whom racism is solely about relations between individual black and white people and nothing else. Former Obama advisor Van Jones hit on this over the weekend when he asserted that white supremacy has a tendency to cause a sense of self-hatred in some black people, and that it is the race of the victim we should consider in cases like this and not the race of the oppressor. This notion of self-hatred to which Jones referred is evident even to white people if they choose to open their eyes and see it. Spike Lee, for instance, in his 1988 film School Days, explores the topic of friction in the black community between light and dark-skinned African Americans. There are also, for instance, multiple studies wherein black girls, when presented with a picture of a pretty white woman and a pretty black woman, will routinely choose the white woman as being prettier. Quick digression on this. This phenomenon, it may very well be changing because of Disney and others' commitments to use more princesses of color in their children's films, leaving aside for today the sexist notion of princess as role model. But this is why we need to see more black Captain America, more black Santa, more black Jesus. We should also consider the well-documented phenomenon of black cops pulling over black drivers for driving while black. This comes from the post-Civil War socially constructed idea of the black criminal. You know, he was driving while black. He must be committing a crime. The notion of the black criminal is so pervasive today that it gets into black people's heads too. The point here is that white supremacy gets into everybody's heads, black and white alike, and it plays out differently for each color. So, with all that in mind, consider this Scorpion anti-gang unit of the Memphis PD to which Nichols' killers belonged. Memphis is 65% black, so that means it was an anti-black gang unit. And policing in this nation, historically derived from slave patrols, skews racist, focusing the lion's share of resources and energy on black communities because of the notion of the black criminal. I mean, just look at drug war statistics if you don't believe me. So creating a gung-ho elite anti-black gang unit in this context, a unit previously accused of brutality and excessive force multiple times, well, this is a recipe for murder, regardless of the skin color of the murderers. It was totally racist. White supremacy is an enormous American mindfuck. It influences all our thoughts and actions and emotions, sometimes directly, as with the Nazi or the Klansman, or seemingly indirectly, as with Danny Glover not being able to get a cab late at night in New York City. Either way, It is the polluted, racist air we all breathe, resulting in black cops murdering black victims. We've got a lot of work to do. I'm Ron Reeder, and this has been Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Join me, Ron Reeder, again next week for another episode of Ron Reeder Digs the Universe. Addendum. Police unions across the land are refusing to defend Nichols' killers. And that's a little strange, because usually the police unions circle the wagons in cases like this. And some are saying, well, it's got to be progress. The unions are starting to condemn this too. But, you know, I can't help but think that it's far easier for police unions to throw black cops under the bus than white cops, because, you know, the black criminal.